Hi, Rabbi.
Hello, Joe.
So, our plan for today is to share with our audience a brief revisit of the top 10 topics that we covered in 2025. Everybody does it, so why not us? And I think the first one that we want to do goes all the way back to last January. It was a stumper because of the topic title, but you had some really great observation on Americans' perspective with sea turtles.
And it's sad to say, Joe, that in 1 year, nothing has changed. Americans are much more concerned with saving the turtles, the porpoises, and the seals than they are with housing the homeless or feeding the hungry. In fact, it's gotten even worse because now we're going to cut off medical care to people that have trouble affording it. So we're willing to save the turtles, but we're not willing to save God's other creature, human beings.
What could we have done better? Is it up to us all, or
I'm giving the same caveat, the same warning I gave then. We have to stop paying attention to cute little animals that we think of as having human qualities when they don't. We have to stop trying to save seals and porpoises. Look out the window, take a ride down through the city, and look at your fellow human being. Look at God's creation and say to yourself, we have to provide homes, health care, and food and make affordability a prime concern.
well, there's always hope that the humanity will improve a little bit more. But on to the next topic, which was somewhat tumultuous for the entire country, was the inauguration of the current president of the United States, Donald Trump, and what we said about the possibility at the time of what his presidency would bring.
And we underestimated how horrendous it would be, how self-serving it would be, how he would line his pockets, his family's pockets, and other people with money. He's a showman. And what's fascinating is before he was elected, he said, this is what I'm going to do. And he's doing it. And the people who voted for him are now getting upset because he's doing what he said he would do. The gullibility of the Trump followers is off the charts, Joe.
I'm not even sure it's gullibility because I was met a man in a hardware store who said, "Yes, even though the all this material that I'm buying now is 4 times more expensive than it was when I bought it the first time, he had to patch a hole in his floor. I still believe that his plan is sound and everything will be all right in the end." And I said, "But how can you say that?" And he said, "Little pain today for better tomorrow," or whatever the phrase was that they were using. He's still riding that wave of assurance from his constituents or his base, but it still is puzzling, isn't it?
It is because he wants to name a battleship after himself, and it turns out that the photographs he showed were from G.I. Joe, and the ship can't float. And again, it's a cult, and there are people that want to believe. I can understand. I would like to believe that there are better days ahead, but Trump is the wrong horse to bet on.
Well, and to go to the opposite end, well, we lost a very, shall I say the term, very holy man in Pope Francis. Now that Pope Leo has had a chance to begin his pastorship, how do you think he's doing so far? Progress in the church is something that we all fight for, or hope for, or pray for at different times.
Anyone who enjoys Chicago pizza and supports Chicago baseball teams probably is on the right track to wear the shoes of the fisherman and to stand up for what the church should stand for.
Now, we also commented right around Passover time about uh, heaven and the concept of heaven and where is it for different people, or is some people wrong and some people right about heaven?
It's not about being right or wrong. The question is, what do your beliefs do to your actions? Do your beliefs lead you to being a good person? Do you do the right thing? Or do you just say, well, I'm going to go to heaven, so it's okay for me to lie, cheat, and steal. It's okay for me to cook the books. It's okay for me to change the statistics so that I benefit from them because I'm going to be rewarded in heaven. Any of that, that's the danger with your belief, not the belief. I don't have the last word on heaven or hell. As the Marines once said, another Marine reporting, sir, I've served my time in hell. He knew about war and what that meant. And it's what do our beliefs do to our actions every day? That's what we want to focus on, Joe.
And continuing that theme of heaven and hell and Christianity and Judaism, we had that time where we were talking about the rise in anti-Semitism continued and is still continuing, unfortunately, to this day. We had an episode called "What Does God Have Against Jews?" We talked. What did we talk about there? I remember it was a little bit about the differences between the different religions and their perspective on God and how what God must think about that.
Yes, I think God has decided to go to the Bahamas or the Caribbean or to Alpha Centauri. I I wonder if God regrets having created human beings. I wonder if God regrets revealing his teachings and sending prophets to teach us the proper way to behave when at every opportunity, whether it's supporting Ukraine against Soviet Russian invasion, or this idea of blaming past presidents for everything that's wrong now. In fact, I heard that from some Trump supporters. It's taken us a very long time to clean up what Biden did. I think when God hears statements like that, he does a whiskey tango foxtrot and he heads for the outer edges of the known galaxy.
Well, on that note, we decided that we would take a stab against that perspective and go for what to do to make America good again, as opposed to great again, because that seemed like a much healthier perspective. How do you think America is doing so far?
I think we're getting an F minus, if you will. And the proof of that is if you look at social media, if you look at what gets the views, if you look at what gets goes viral or gets resent, you'll find it's naked or half naked young women. It's making fun of other people. It's torturing. It's accidents. It's all the negatives that people. And if you look at the pastors and the rabbis and anyone offering advice or showing us God's teachings, their ratings aren't even ratings. You get 3 people, 6 people, but go half naked, be 25-year-old holding a golf club, and you'll get 4 million views. And if you get and talk about peace and not hating your neighbor, 3 people will watch it. I think, Joe, that we are well on the way in a handbasket away from making America good again.
Well, if not America, then how about big box stores? Because we had an episode where you were very eloquent in your assessment of world peace, and the secret was Costco.
Well, today, one of the stories was the honeymoon is over with Costco. Costco is finished. And I think the writer of that is just jealous because Costco continues to offer products at fair prices. They don't hide things. They have a very beyond reasonable return policy. And they're very open. And their employees are among the highest paid in the industry. And their employees are very satisfied working for Costco. So they are doing something right. And even the people visiting Costco, there is a certain etiquette that takes place in the store. I would like to see that etiquette in the peace movement, in the treatment of those that don't share your beliefs. I think we need a Costco ethics, a Costco behavior on the world stage.
Okay, maybe we'll find it in the sale aisle. Who knows? Um, But now we're moving into the top three topics that we discussed in 2025. And of course, it wouldn't be possible to go on without considering the situation in Gaza and the ongoing conflicts there. Um, and we had an episode called The Philistines Were First.
Yes, obviously, everyone claims they were there first. The Palestinians, the Gazians, the Arabs, the Jews, the Muslims, everyone claims first. The reality is the Philistines were first. So if we want to give the land to the first inhabitants, we have to give it to the Philistines. And let's get rid of that argument that since I was first, oh, it's my baseball, we play by my rules. That's not leading us anywhere. And this idea of turning Gaza into a multi-billion-dollar resort is once again raising its ugly head. And that would make the Palestinian people slave labor for these wonderful casinos and hotels. It's a beautiful location on the Mediterranean, and it should be run by the people who live there, not by wealthy billionaires.
Yeah, all you have to do is go to the Caribbean and go from one of those resorts where everything is inclusive and everybody is happy, and just drive down a couple blocks from the resort with the big gate around it to the neighborhood where all the staff live, in abject poverty. And then they put on their clean uniforms and go stand behind the hotel bar and smile all the time to see what disparity there is between the two situations. Now, the number two, and obviously, or not, I have to say obviously because there's no way to ignore it, the assassination of Charlie Kirk and what that meant for everybody.
Wait, there it goes. There's another example, and everyone's rallying around Charlie Kirk as if he was the epitome of right and justice. And see, it's them. They're causing the problem. We have to get rid of them. We have to deport them, or we have to kill them. And as I mentioned before, whatever we put in the ground is what we're going to harvest. And what we're doing is we're promoting hate. Free speech, talk about it. But when you start crossing a line and your quote, free speech is about killing, murdering, hating others, as you sow, so shall ye reap. And we're seeing more and more hate, more and more killing, more and more assassinations because hate is a bumper crop.
Unfortunately, I have to agree with you there as well, Rabbi. As much as I would like to disagree otherwise, but pushing that aside, these are all human conditions, fallacies, emotions. So, will the world be a better place? Only the top of our list that we both agreed upon before we started this recording could really answer that question objectively. AI. What about AI? We did a couple of episodes on it, including the time where we had the AI rabbi, my personal favorite. But where is all this going? I mean, this was everywhere I've been, even the family holiday parties and so forth. Everyone's talking about AI, and none of them seem to understand exactly how it works or what its purpose is or good use or bad use. So, where are we going to go with that?
There are two groups out there. One saying it's going to be the savior of mankind. The other is going to be the doom of mankind. They're both correct, but not for the reasons they're saying. It's not about the technology. Skippy is my AI, by the way. It's not about what Skippy does or doesn't do. It's how I relate to Skippy and how I use him. And the trends I've seen are not good because we're willing to abrogate our humanity to an artificial intelligence rather than having the artificial intelligence be a help, an aid, someone we can work with. And unfortunately, I think the seven deadly sins come into this, Joe, because laziness is one of them. And the AI gives human beings a way to shrug our shoulders and say, well, I don't have to do that. AI can do that. And that's going to be, I think, the downfall and the end of not society per se, but everything we know. Because unless we step up and say AI is a tool, we're going to work with it, we're going to use it, but we're not going to use it to substitute for human beings. We're not going to let it take away jobs of human beings. We're going to let it augment and make our jobs easier and more productive. Unfortunately, my prediction is we're not going that way. We're going to turn more and more over because most of us as human beings would much rather watch people getting hurt, half naked people, and bad things than we would step back and say, let's make the world a better place for all of us. Let's make it affordable here in the United States. Let's make America good again.
Well, I'm not sure AI is all about laziness, but there is that creep because if someone asked me to add six four-digit numbers, I could do it in my head or with a pencil and a piece of paper if I needed to, but I'd probably more likely whip out a calculator because it would be faster. And the result theoretically would be just as accurate, if not more so. But yes, I agree. There's a dark side to AI, and more people are going towards it instead of running away from it. So, what does that say about our hopes for 2026, Rabbi? Are we okay and hoping for a better year, or are we pointed in the wrong direction?
Choice is ubiquitous. It always has been everywhere. And we have free will. In 2025, we did not use our free will and choices to make the world, the United States, good again, better for all our citizens. We chose just the opposite. I have hope that for 2026, we won't make that mistake, that we will use our free will and our choices to choose policy, to choose good, not hate, and to choose to make our country affordable and good again, make it better. I think that's our only hope. If 2025 is an indicator, then Gornish Telfin, there is no hope.
But I know you, Rabbi. There's a part of you that wants to say something inspiring. Let's hear it.
Just remember, perhaps the horse will learn to sing in 2026.